This is our fourth video for Chapter 2. This is Chapter 2, Section 4, Solving Addition Equations. What you'll learn in this video is to use subtraction to solve equations. And remember, an equation is an open sentence if it has one or more variables. You have two terms to define in this video. They are inverse operations and subtraction property of equality. When you see these terms in the video, be sure to pause the video and write the definition in your notebook. Be sure to have a section of your notes labeled terms or vocabulary and have your vocabulary within that area. In the equation, x plus 4 equals 38. 4 is added to the variable. To solve the equation, you need to get the variable alone on one side of the equal sign. To get the variable alone, you have to undo the operation that's already happening in the equation. You undo adding 4 by subtracting 4. Operations that undo each other are inverse operations. So basically, an inverse operation is just doing the opposite of whatever's already happening. So if it's adding 4, to do the opposite, you subtract 4. Now let's look at solving an equation using subtraction. So this is an addition equation that we're going to solve by doing subtraction because subtraction is the opposite of addition. So we want to get the x alone on one side of the equation. So our original equation is x plus 4 equals 38. So if I have plus 4, I want to do the opposite. The opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from each side to undo the addition and get the x by itself. So when we do this, the plus 4 and the minus 4 cancel each other out. So you're going to cancel them out, have your equals line drawn, and then bring your x down, bring your equals down, and then do the math. So that leaves you with x equals 34, because 38 minus 4 is 34. Now to check that, we take the value that we have and stick it back in the original equation. So we'll replace the x with 34. 34 plus 4, does that equal 38? Yes, it does. So that solution is true or correct. Pause the video and do this one in your notebook. Be sure to label it as exercises or quick checks and number the problem. And remember, when you're adding or subtracting decimals, you need to line up the decimal points before you do the math. Now, when you solve problems using equations, drawing a diagram might help. The model indicates that the whole equals part plus another part. So the whole is the top bar, and then the two parts that make the whole are split up on the bottom. So let's look at another example. When a kitten was brought home, it weighed 15 ounces. After 2 years, the kitten had grown into a cat weighing 120 ounces. How many ounces did the cat gain? So our total, or the end amount, is the weight after 2 years. And the weight after 2 years is made up of the original weight plus the number of ounces gained over those 2 years. So we're going to let G equals the number of ounces gained, because G for gained. And so we know the end weight was 120, and that 120 ounces is made up of the original 15 ounces and the amount we don't know, which is the amount gained over the 2 years. So the equation to solve it is 15 plus G equals 120. Now, again, we always want to get the variable by itself. So this 15, even though it doesn't have a plus in front of it, just the fact that it doesn't have a negative symbol lets me know that this is a positive 15. So to move a positive 15 or a plus 15, I'm going to do the opposite, and the opposite of plus 15 is minus 15. So I'm going to minus 15 from both sides to undo the addition. So these two 15s will cancel each other out, because plus 15 and minus 15 gets you 0. So that leaves me with G, and then 120 minus 15 is 105. So G equals 105. So the cat gained 105 ounces in the first 2 years. Pause the video and do this quick check in your notebook. Be sure to pay attention to what information you need to pull out of the word problem. You can use an equation first, or you can try to model it first and then use an equation. But you need to write and solve an equation to figure out how much it weighed 1 year ago. Now, when you use inverse operations to solve equations, you are using a mathematical property. The property used in this lesson is called the subtraction property of equality. So that's a key concept for this chapter. And what that says is, if you subtract the same value from each side of the equation, the two sides remain equal. So basically what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side of the equals. Please copy this key concept box into your notes. Now it's time to check your understanding. Be sure to label it as check your understanding in your notebook. Number all the problems, copy the original equations, and show all your work. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.